So, hello, everyone. This has been such an exciting week for us. Biden, Harris. Joy is such a different thing during this time of a pandemic, isn't it? And I hope you are all healthy and staying safe out there. Today, I'm so glad to join you to celebrate 85 years of Social Security. But first, I know that not all of you may know me as well as you know my husband, Joe. So I'd like to start by telling you a little bit about myself. I grew up the oldest of 5 girls in a suburb of Philadelphia. And when I dreamed of what my life would be, I knew that I wanted 2 things. A marriage like my parents that was strong and loving and full of laughter, and I wanted a career. So I set out to find those 2 things, but my path was just a bit meandering. It was the 70s, Vietnam, love beads, equal rights. I wore my hair down to the middle of my waist, and so did most of the men I dated. So one day I was asked out on a date from out of the blue. And that evening, a handsome young senator showed up at my door. So I opened the door, and there was Joe. And I took one look at his perfect suit and his leather loafers, and I thought, thank God it's only one date. But one date eventually turned into a marriage proposal. And, if I'm being honest, it was 5 proposals because this was really not part of my plan. And more than that, it wasn't just my heart that was on the line. As many of you know, just after Joe was elected to the Senate at age 29, he was in his new DC office to hire staff when he got a call from the Delaware State Troopers. So his family had been in a car accident, and his wife, Nelia, and baby daughter, Naomi, were killed. And Bo and Hunter survived, but were seriously injured. And Joe was later sworn in at their hospital bedside. And since that accident, their family had pieced itself back together as best they could. They had this bond of memories and love and grief and absolute trust. And I couldn't stand the thought of letting down these 2 little boys who were ready to open up their hearts to me. I knew that if I said yes to Joe's marriage proposal, it had to be forever. And eventually I realized that my love for them outweighed any fears that I had, and I said yes. Still, it's hard to know what you owe a spouse who died before you came along. A lot of people wrestle with the fact that the love of their lives loves someone else first, and perhaps never stop loving that person. Some feel jealous. Some feel inadequate. Some let questions of what would have been eat away at their peace of mind. But from the beginning, Joe made it clear that there was room enough for both of us. And I knew that if he could love Nelia as deeply as he did, then maybe I could be loved that completely too. Joe's mom used to say, God never gives us a cross too heavy to carry. In the darkest moments of my life, I've come to believe the truth of that statement with one caveat. We don't have to carry it alone. I learned that sometimes the most courageous thing we can do is lean on one another, because that's what community is for, lifting each other up when we need it the most. When President Roosevelt talked to the American people about Social Security, he shared a vision that our nation would be, quote, a place where all persons can live in peace, honor, and human dignity, free to speak and pray as they wish, free from want and free from fear. Community, a country where all generations are valued, a place where when you work hard your whole life and you pay into the system, you earn the right to security. And for 85 years, Social Security has ensured that Americans enjoy a secure retirement with guaranteed benefits after that lifetime of work and contributions. That right has never been more important than now, as a global pandemic threatens older Americans' lives and living situations. And yet, it has never been more vulnerable as this administration promises to permanently defund it. Joe understands how critical Social Security is. He'll never gamble with it. And in fact, he will strengthen it so that it can continue to better Americans' lives for generations to come. And that's not all. He's going to protect and expand Medicare and ensure quality, affordable health care for all older Americans. He will reduce the cost of prescription drugs, and he will make sure that our seniors have the choice to receive care at home or in a supportive community setting. Joe keeps his word, and he spent his entire career doing the seemingly impossible. So when he makes a promise like that, when he says he will never, ever turn his back on you, you can believe it. Joe has the steady leadership and vision to build our nation back better than before. And now he has someone standing by his side who has never been afraid to stand up for what's right or hold those in power accountable. Kamala Harris. And let me say how excited I am to have her husband, Doug, joining us as well. Joe and Kamala are going to turn our country around, but they can't do it without you. About 1 in 4 registered voters are over 65, and that's a powerful voting bloc. You know, Joe, you know what's at stake, and you have the chance to decide this election. Especially women, we need the nana vote. And on this 100th anniversary of suffrage, we have a legacy to uphold. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait for our first Madam Vice President. It's on us to talk to our friends and our family and do everything we can between now and November 3rd. COVID has changed how we talk to people, but how we win hasn't changed much. It's person-to-person conversations. It's building relationships and making the case. It's speaking out and showing up. So I'm asking for your help. You can text seniors 30330 or go to joebiden.com/coalitions and check the seniors box. That will give you opportunities to volunteer. And our team will be in touch and make sure you have all the tools to volunteer for our campaign from your home. Now, before I go, I know we have 2 organizations with us today that want to officially announce their endorsement for Joe. Congresswoman Schakowsky, do you want to introduce our endorsers?
I sure will. You're absolutely right. We have 2 important endorsements. And first is coming from Robert Roach, the president of the Alliance for Retired Americans, is here with us. And the Alliance for Retired Americans is a leading national organization of 4 million individuals across the country. And Robert, are you here?
I am, Congresswoman. Thank you, and thank you, Jill. I am Robert Roach, President of the Alliance for Retired Americans. And on behalf of our 4.4 million members, I am proud to announce that we enthusiastically endorse Joe Biden to be our 46th president. We know we can count on Joe to strengthen our retirement security and protect the health of older Americans. We know this because we know Joe. Vice President Biden has been a friend to seniors for a long time. He's earned a 96% lifetime pro-retiree score on our congressional voting record. And his new running mate, Senator Harris, earned a 100% rating. Joe will protect our pensions and expand and strengthen the Social Security benefits. He will never, ever defund Social Security and will put millions of seniors at risk of financial ruin. We know this because we know Joe. He's going to use the power of Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices, which retirees and all Americans desperately need. I know Joe Biden will treat every American with respect and will lead us out of this awful pandemic. We know this because we know Joe. Our members are organized and are working to get everyone out to the polls. We're educating people on the process, and we are motivating to get everyone that they possibly can out to the polls and make sure that we elect Joe Biden, our friend, to be the 46th president of the United States of America. Thank you so much, and let's go to work.
Robert, thank you so much for your endorsement today. Alliance for Retired Americans is doing so much to support its members across this nation, and we are proud, so proud to have you on our team. And after a lifetime of hard work, your members remain active as strong advocates and leaders in their communities. And we're going to need every single one of them to help us win this campaign.
And you know that we're going to see the Alliance for Retired Americans doing just that. And now we have another amazing endorsement. Many of you probably know John Bauman, best as Bowser from Sha-na-na. But to us in the advocacy movement, we know that what is even more important is that Bowser is the president of Social Security Works PAC. And Social Security Works is a leading advocacy organization that fights tirelessly and to expand and protect Social Security. So, John Bowman, it is yours. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman. And there has never been an election more consequential for Social Security than this one. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, and the Democrats are committed to protecting and expanding this vital program. If Donald Trump stays in power, he will try to end Social Security as we know it. It was President Dwight D. Eisenhower who once famously said that people who oppose Social Security were, quote, a tiny splinter group whose number is negligible and who are stupid. Unfortunately, that tiny splinter group now controls Eisenhower's Republican Party, and one of them sits in the Oval Office. Donald Trump is a clear and present danger to Social Security. He recently vowed that if reelected, he will, quote, terminate, unquote, Social Security's funding. Make no mistake, under current law, that means that in just a few years, Social Security would be no more. During Trump's horrific response to coronavirus, he has sent a message to older Americans that he doesn't really care if we live or die, and that some of us should indeed sacrifice ourselves to the economy so that he can get reelected. Now, he's also made it clear that he intends to steal our money by raiding the Social Security trust funds. But there is light ahead. There is light ahead in the form of Joe Biden. Joe has been a champion for older Americans for his whole career. He and Kamala Harris will fight to protect and expand our Social Security and Medicare. They will fight to lower prescription drug costs by taking on the greed of big pharma. Joe Biden knows that Social Security and Medicare have kept countless millions of Americans out of poverty. Social Security Works PAC is proud to endorse Joe Biden to become the 46th president of the United States of America. Or as my alter ego Bowser would put it, Bum 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 dang a dang dang a ding a dong ding. Vote for Joe Biden. Thank you.
Bowser, I've always loved Sha Na. And what Social Security Works does is so critical to our efforts. You know, we need to mobilize Americans around this issue and help amplify the voices of those who are most affected by this. And you are helping do just that. So thank you for your work. Thank you for your support. And thank you for your music. You know, I began with the words of President Roosevelt, and I'd like to end with them as well. In that same speech, he said, quote, I have the possibly old-fashioned theory that when you have problems to solve, objectives to achieve, you can't get very far by just talking about them. You've got to go out and do something. We are almost 80 days away from the election, and there's no time to waste. We have to get out there and do something. And I know that that is why we are here today. And with you beside us, we're going to win this. So I want to thank you all for being here today. Thank you for everything you do in your communities. And thank you for your faith in an idea that's really bigger than all of us. And that is that we will build a better nation because we are going to do this together. Thank you.